Dashboards. Oh, to say that again. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Managing Dashboards in Actus, delivered by myself, Jane Moss. Just before we start the webinar, I just want to give you a heads up of what's coming up. We regularly have our free ongoing webinars delivered by Lucinda. The next one is in 29th of April, building a business case for culture. And we have one on the 22nd of May on how to make mentoring work in your organization. So if you're interested in any of those, there's a link on there to say we will be sharing this PowerPoint with you that you can click on to sign up. In terms of our HR admin training sessions, we are looking to do in the month of May a session on reporting groups, which we'll touch on today, on how to get the most from reporting groups, which you might know as talent pools within Actus. We also want to do a separate session on reporting. Now, if you've got any ideas or subject matters that you would like us to cover, please share them with us, because we're always looking for new things to cover on these calls. Also, just a reminder that if you need to use us for any other training, such as system training or people training, we can offer all these courses for you. Okay, so the webinar today, just to give you an overview of what we're going to look at, the focus is all about dashboards, how to manage dashboards in Actus, and we'll be focusing on building your own ones. So how to add it, create your own customizable dashboard, how to build it, and how to view it. And once you've done that, how you then assign it to a particular audience. So you might be building a dashboard just for your managers, or just for people in a key area, or maybe a dashboard for your HR admins to view. The other thing you can do with the dashboards, there is a specific dashboard I want to show you today, is send targeted emails. So looking at how to build this dashboard and then how you then send a targeted email, maybe to the individual employees, or to the managers, or to both, and how you would do that. In order to access and edit dashboards as an administrator, we have to give you something called Company Designer Dashboard. If you don't have it currently, then you can either let us know or raise a ticket with our help desk, and they will give you the access. If you want any additional support, maybe more detail than what I'm going to be covering today, you can get that from the system. If you click on the Help menu and select HR Admin Help and click on the magnifying glass, if you then search against dashboards, it will then bring out all our help articles that relate to building a dashboard, and that goes into more finer detail than what I'm going to show you today. So we're going to start off with how to access and create the dashboards. And before we do that, we're going to think about what type of dashboards can we add. So you could create a dashboard that could be focusing purely on objectives. Maybe you want to look at what objectives have been set for the current year compared to last year. Or you might be adding a dashboard that focuses on appraisals or one-to-ones, development and training, or recognition. Or you can have a combination of all of them. So you really are in control in what you put on your dashboard. So I'm going to come out of this now, and I'm logged in as Derek Director, who is an administrator, and show you now how to view your dashboards and then how to create one. So you will see in here, we've got the dashboards with the drop down. And I'm going to just show you an example of what the dashboard might look like. So for example, I have a recognition dashboard here. And if I select it, this is a really good dashboard that you could give to your managers. When managers look at a dashboard, they will see in their dashboard their direct reports, a view of their direct reports, and they also can see their team. When a dashboard is launched, this dashboard is showing recent recognition, and it's looking at the team currently of the organisation. So as an administrator, you would see the whole organisation here. And this is showing us people in our organisation that have recently received recognition. So we can see the names here, and we can hover over there to see the details of who has given the recognition. As a manager, as I said, they won't see the organisation, they would see their direct report. So when they select the dashboard, it would default to the direct reports, which is their direct reporting team, and that then would update here. And also in this dashboard here, which is quite useful, we've got another one just to say, have we sent any recognition? Has any recognition been sent by any team members in the last 14 days, or has any been received? So it's just giving you an overview on that. If they want to see their whole team, the whole team is everyone that sits underneath their direct reports. Then if they select their whole team, then it updates the view. You'll also notice here in Choose Team, for me as an HR admin, I'm also a manager, so I also see the direct reports on the whole team. But you'll see all these different groups appear here. Now, within our system, as an HR administrator, we can give you access to manage groups. Some of you might know them as talent pools. And by giving you access to these groups, you can build your own groups that then become visible here in the dashboard for you to select and then focus on. So if I wanted to look at a particular group from my dashboard, you just select it here and then it goes into the view. Let's have a look at some other dashboards that are available to you to give you some ideas of what you can build. So if I just show you a team summary, this is a mixture of dashboards. So in here, we're using a variety of dashboards. We can see objectives. So it's looking at the objectives for 24-25, who in the organisation, based on who you're looking at, has an objective. So I can see 72% have one or more objective. I can see here the number of employees who haven't had any recognition recently. So this widget dashboard that you see here is quite useful if you give that, say, to managers. It's prompting them maybe to recognise people, and they can click on the plus and give recognition from here. We've got a view of the logins over the last 3 months. So it's looking back and it's giving us a view of when people, based on my view, have logged in. So you can see that more people logged in January compared to December. And then we've got that recognition view underneath. You might have a dashboard that just focuses purely on objectives. It's just giving you ideas. So in this one, it allows me to view my objectives here using different views. You can have percentages or charts. And here, again, you can see looking at this year. So nobody yet has set any objectives for 24-26 compared maybe to last year, where you can see 60% of people had objectives. Another one, which is actually one I'm going to build today. So I'm going to show it to you first. I'm going to have a go at building it. This dashboard I'm showing you, what we've put on here is probably the most popular dashboard that we build and customers use. You can see here we've got the charts, and the charts are looking at the current year and showing us for the current year, we've got 100% of people with objectives, 100% of people have reviews, and 60% of people have one-to-ones. If I want to get a breakdown of my reviews, what we can see here is we've created a view which is focusing on our end year appraisal for the current year. And what you get is a breakdown of the different statuses. So I can see currently, based on my direct reports, 5 people have an end year appraisal in progress. And I've also got the same for my mid-year. So I can look for my mid-year for the current year, who's got a mid-year appraisal. And I can see 1 person has none, 3 in progress, none completed. Now, from this view, the reason it is so popular is you're able to email directly from here. So if I wanted to send an email, maybe to ask people to maybe complete their end year appraisal, I could click on the number 5 here. It shows me the names of all those people. I can send an email by clicking email, type in the subject, whatever you want your subject to be, select the names of who you want to send it to. Now you have a choice. Do you want to send it just to the employees and CC the managers? Or more commonly, it tends to be the email to the managers that people use. So if you're going to email the manager to ask them to complete their team's appraisals, we need to make sure that the email we're sending puts in the manager's name. So we replace dear employee name with dear manager name. So that puts the manager's name straight into here. You then can update it with any text you want to add. And as part of this email that you send, what you will want to include is a list of their team members that haven't yet completed the appraisals. Let's put a subject in here. And then select send. And that sends an email to all the managers that manage these people. Now, it said one email sent. The reason is there was one manager that managed those people. The other thing we've got in this view is a login view. And the login view is showing us the number of people that have logged in. Now, if you click on the settings here, we can see this is looking at today. So to make that probably a bit more meaningful, you might want to see who logged in the last month. Select that. And actually, it still shows that I've got 5 people that haven't logged in. And if I want to see the names, you can click on the chart there and you can send an email to those people. So if I now change the view to the organisation, so if you're looking at this for your whole organisation as an HR admin, you'll see that then populates with everybody's data. And you'll see that that now has updated and probably makes it a little bit more meaningful when you look at it with all the data in. So what we're going to do next is we are going to have a go at creating this. So we'll have the chart, we'll have an end year, a mid-year probation, and we'll do the login as part of our dashboard. So as I mentioned earlier, you need to make sure that you've got permission to edit dashboards. When you select your dashboard, if you've been given permission, you will see edit dashboards appear here, and you'll see the option also to add a new dashboard. So I'm going to select add dashboard. Okay, so we're starting from the very beginning. When I add the dashboard, the first thing I'm going to do is click on these 2 little cogs here and give the dashboard a name. Calling it Jane's dashboard, but you will call it something more meaningful. So name your dashboard. And then for the title, I tend to use the same name in my title. The title is what appears in the navigation. So when I clicked on the drop down and I selected the dashboard to view, that's the name that shows. The data scope, this is really important, always choose team manager for your data scope. Showing menu, select yes. If this is set to no, when this is made live, it won't show in the drop-down menu to the users. Then we've got business areas. So you then automatically, we can see here, all business areas are selected, but if you want to allocate this dashboard to a specific business area, you can. Same with locations. All locations are automatically ticked, but if you had a specific location that you wanted this dashboard to show, then you just pick it. You'll see there's a message that talks about additional filters, and that is what we are going to use for our dashboard. But what we have to do is save this first, save the screen, and then we open it to enable the filter option. We're not going to be using a talent pool for our dashboard, but just it's there as an option if you needed to use it. And we're not yet ready to publish it live yet. So if I just save that now. Okay, so it just says wait a moment. So now that that is saved, if I go back here to the 2 cogs, you will see now I've got add extra filters. And I need the extra filters to determine who is going to see the dashboard. So this dashboard that I'm building is going to be for an HR admin. So when you click on filters, depending on what you've got in your Actus HR database, you will see a list of options appear because you can use anything as a filter. The most common filter that is used is user type when you're setting a dashboard for, say, an HR admin. So if I tick user type and then close, then it's put the user type in here and allows me then to select the different types of users. So you'll notice I've got a whole list here because I'm using a test system, but on yours, you'll probably see you've got an HR admin, an employee, you might have some more. We're creating an HR administrator dashboard. So you would pick, in this case, your HR admin types that appear here. Now I've got a specific one for the one I'm logged in as, which is this one. So that then, you can pick more than one. So if you've got more than one different type of HR admin, you can pick it. In general, most of you will probably just have the one. I'm not going to publish it yet. So we're now going to select save. And we're now going to go on to building the dashboard. So you see here, we've got a pencil here on the right-hand side. I'll just click on the pencil. And now I've clicked on the pencil, you will see we've now got a plus that allows us then to add, we call them widgets, the different types of widgets into our dashboard. So when you click on the plus, it gives you a preview of all the dashboards. So if you see the one that you want, you can just click on it and pick it from here. But if you actually wanted to look at what dashboards are available for a specific area, then say I'm interested in appraisals, for example, then they all get displayed here. So you can see at a glance, if I'm designing an appraisal dashboard, these are the ones I potentially can use. So I'm going to pick this one, the chart one, to start, and then I add it in. And that then gets added. Okay, then I'll add the next one. And actually, it's this one that I'm going to use, the most popular one. Now, the beauty is, if those of you that might have attended this session a year ago, it was that I delivered this last session on dashboards, we can now duplicate a dashboard. So if you want to use the same dashboard more than once, then you can add it again and again as many times as you like. So this one, I'm going to use this for my mid-year review and for my probation. So I'm going to add it 3 times. So depending what templates you want to put against it, you can then select. It's just updating. So I've got one more to put in. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to put that login one in as well. So that one had the login. So it's the login status, that one in there that I'm going to add. So you can see, really easy to add them in. And when you add them in, you've got the ability to move them around, but you can click and drag if you want to move them into where they appear. If you decide you don't want one, you can just click on the cross to close it. And you can also update the names. So if I wanted to put in here, say, end year review, you can change the names if you want to. So this is going to be my mid-year. Maybe this is going to be my probation. So you can update all of these to reflect the names that you want. So now I've got everything in position as I want it. I tick. And that updates my record. And what it does, it previews. This is what it's going to look like. And what we need to do now is for these 3 is select the template that it's going to be viewing. So here, this one, you'll see there's 2 cogs. The 2 cogs here allow you to control the settings within the widget. So you can see against the templates, here is a drop down of all the templates that I have available on my system. Pick the template. Now, if this is going to be given to all HR admins, you've got a choice. You either fix it, which means this always is locked now. So all HR admins, when they see this, will always see the end year appraisal, which I'm going to do because I've called it end year appraisal. I don't want someone changing it and then it will become confusing. Or you can leave it open. So if you leave the lock open, at the moment, you can see it's current year. It allows them to then change the year. So if you want them to change the year, leave it open. You'll see we've got current year and last year, and that's really useful. So depending on when your cycle is, if your performance cycle is the 1st of January, then that just updates every year. And if you're using the 1st of April as your cycle, just be aware, whatever you add today on the 1st of April, it will then reflect the stats for that next performance cycle. If you want to be specific, you can actually pick the year from here. It's up to you. I'm going to lock both because then it makes it easier in terms of people changing things. But it really is up to you whether you use that. It tends to work better if you lock it. And there you go. That's now updated. It's updated the view based on what I've got set here. If I pick organisation, which you might want to do if you're building this, it then gives you a preview of how it looks and feels if it's looking at the whole organisation. Okay, so we're going to update the others. Now here, you'll see this is automatically looking at the current year, but let's just click on the settings to look what this is looking at. Current year, I'm going to block it. And at the moment, it's looking at every single template. So if you want to focus it on everything, you leave it as all, or you might just say, actually, let's just focus on one. I'll leave it as the end year appraisal, maybe let them change it, or you can fix it, up to you. And then that updates dynamically in here and actually makes that very clear what that is referring to. It's probably clearer to pick a particular template. Right, we're going to do the mid-year now. So I'm going to lock it and I'll pick the mid-year. And then we'll do the same. We'll do probation for current year and lock it. And there we go. Now, when you see the stats in here, it's just worth noting that in the back end where you set your templates, when you set a new probation template, you will allocate it. Now, some of you may have your probation template just allocated to people that are on probation. If you've done that with your template, then the numbers here will only look at those people in that group that are on probation. Same for an end year review. Some of you might have an end year review that's for a senior leadership team, and only the senior leadership team have access to that template. Then the numbers then will reflect that team. If you've got your template pointing to everyone in the organisation, then it looks at everything here. Okay. Any questions? I can see there's some questions on there, Maria. Anything I need to look at or answer now?
Yeah, so there was a question from Nancy. If the dashboards are only visible for HR admins, or can line managers also see it? And I said you will cover that. So she said she gets a question a lot. How can I check that people in my team are completing appraisals for their direct reports without actually physically clicking into the profile?
So how can you see if your team,
people in your team, so you go for your whole team on the filter,
their direct reports? Okay. It would be amalgamated for yourself because it will be incorporated in the whole team. So you would select whole team, Nancy, and have a look at what comes up. And then what you would have to do is when you look here, because it's including everyone beneath them, you can click here and then you'll be able to see the status of who sits where. So that's the way you would see it. For your managers, obviously, when they're looking at it, they would just be seeing their own team. The question about the dashboards, can it be available to managers? The answer is yes, because we've covered that in terms of the drop down. In terms of when we set it up, if I was setting this up now, not for an administrator, but for a manager, I would be using a different filter here for my managers. And we have to create a separate dashboard for HR admins and for managers. So you might find you create one for yourself and then you create it again and duplicate it and give it to your managers. And the next one that I will create, I'll use the managers as an example to show you what filter you would select. So for this one here, this is purely, it's going to show in the menu. It's going to look just for the HR admins that I've selected in here. I haven't published it yet. Now, when I select yes, this is really useful because this then shows you it's visible to 14 people. That feels right to me. If that said, yes, visible to 100 people, I might think I haven't got 100 HR admins, and it might be because I actually haven't put the filter in. So that's a really good checking when you get that and you select yes. So I'm going to save it now. Now, once you've now saved and you've created the dashboard, it doesn't become visible straight away. So when you click here, you don't immediately see it visible on your list. So you have to log out and log back in again to see it. So I'm just going to log out now of Derek and go back in. That's quite key. Log out, come back in, and then you will be able to see the dashboard displayed. Okay. We come here and you can see now, I called it Jane, so it's stand out, Jane's dashboard view. And that's now available to all HR admins. It's just loading now. And here it is, it's coming through. And there is the view there. Now, where I see my team, I can see it's defaulted to direct reports. What it can do is, if I want it to default to the organization or whatever team I want it to default to, you select it and pin it. If you pin it, that then becomes the default. Any other questions, Maria? Anything? Let's see the yes.
Hang on,
there is. Claire's asking for some access.
Claire's just asking, yes, I will give you access, Claire. And yes, there will be a copy of the recording as well that will be sent afterwards.
Okay, so that's taking you all through how to add a dashboard. What I'm going to do now is let's just have a look at how to add one for a manager. So similar thing, we go to the dashboards here and we go to add a dashboard. And this is going to be the recognition dashboard. So we come here, click on the two cogs. And then what I tend to do, because if you are an admin and a manager and you have visibility of both, it makes sense to identify it by putting manager on the end. So it makes it clear which ones are manager dashboards, which ones are just for HR admins. Showing the menu, we want all business areas, we won't publish it, and we will get the filter in a minute. Oh,
you didn't have the data scope.
Yes. So the question, who's been listening, what do I select for data scope? What do I select here? Because this is key. Let's pop it in the chat if anyone's got an answer. What do we select here? Anyone find the chat? Fastest finger first? No one? Seeing who's awake this afternoon? No? Company? No? Close? Okay, that's a good one though. I did forget it. It's team manager. Team manager, that's it. So always select team manager. It's the first one on the list. Thank you, everybody. And select save. Okay, now I've done that. I can now use the filter. So we go back into the cogs. Extra filter. For this time, I want it to be a manager. So you should be able to see in your database, you should have an is manager as an option. If you haven't, we'll add one for you. And you tick is manager. And it's basically the question, are they a manager? When you've done that, it appears in here. So the answer is yes. So only people who are managers, and it's clever enough to know, anyone that manages someone will see our dashboard. And we will publish it later. So I'll just do a save. Click on the pencil. Now, when you're doing this, you can choose the view. So maybe actually, I shall leave it as direct report because they're managers. Click on the pencil. And add. And we're going to be adding recognition. So here, the easiest way is if you look for all the recognition ones, if we start off with the recent recognitions first and add that. And once we've added it, we'll search for the other two and select here, recognition, that one. And then the last one. So I've got recent recognitions and the last one. So we're picking it from the recognition. There we go. Okay, now if you want to change the labels, you can, but I'm leaving them as they are. So when we're happy with that, we tick. And that all looks good. Nothing to do in the settings for these. So we just come back to here and we can now publish it. And again, we get visible to 52 people. That feels right if I know I've got 52 managers. And then save it. And they then have access to this. If they currently are logged on, they would need to log out and log in. The next time they log in, they would then have this dashboard appear, and that would then appear automatically. I'm not going to log out and log back in again, but they would have the recognition appear here for them to then see that dashboard. Now, some of you have got dashboards already. You might want to edit what's there. You might want to update some names, or you might take things out. So if you want to edit a dashboard, you select edit dashboards here, and then you select dashboards again, and it gives you this long list. Now, these are my dashboards. What you will see on this list, you probably will see this new UI home. This is to do with our new user interface that's not been released yet. So you won't be using anything in here. The ones that you will be managing are the ones that you've created. So the ones that you have will either be listed above, or if you've added any new ones, they will appear here at the bottom. So if you want to edit anything, you just click on it. Click on the pencil. And if you need to take something out, you've got the cross to remove. You can move things around, or if you want to add a new one into it, you click on the plus to add new. So you can see here, I don't know, I'll just drag that across. So that's how you move one. If you want to take one out, yes, that takes it out.
Yeah, there's a question from Steve. Can you rearrange once brought through? And I think that's what you probably just answered. Is that what your question is about, Steve?
So we can move it down and move things around and add new things in.
Good.
So it's not fixed. Brilliant. So I can't believe the time, it's flown by. What we've covered is we've gone through how to add a dashboard from scratch, how to change the settings, how to modify, and that has covered everything. Does anyone have any questions? Happy for you to either pop them in the chat or even come off mute if you want to ask a question. Don't feel shy if there's anything that you want to ask. Okay. So is there anything I haven't covered that you would like to know? No? Okay. Okay. All right. So what I would say is thank you, everybody. Oh, I can see a little pussycat making a guest appearance on Jen's screen. So I just want to say thank you all very, very much for joining today. I hope you found it useful. We will send you a copy of the recording, a copy of my PowerPoint presentation that does give you screenshots of every bit that I've done today. Any questions, come back to Maria and I if you need us to give you access. And there also will be a feedback link that we'll share with you when we send you the email with everything. So thank you so much for joining. Nice to see you all, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
I'll stop sharing. We can stop recording. If anyone does want to stay on and ask a question, we stop recording. Some people don't like to ask questions when it's recorded.